This changes everything. In a country where more than a third of Americans don't participate at all in the stock market, Charlie Munger is given the first proximal steps to investing using even small amounts of money, and I think it works on a set of principles of math that I've not seen more people talk about with regard to stock market investments. I've considered 3 major lessons from Charlie Munger's philosophy here that I want to talk to you about. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but subscribe to the channel for more discussions like this, and let's get into it.
Hi, Bill Chen from New York City. This question is for Charlie. Warren and you are known for saying that if you work with a small sum of capital, namely I think being $10 million, Warren had probably said that he could guarantee that you compound that at 50% a year. So my question is, can you provide some examples? And I would kindly ask you to provide as many examples as possible and be as specific as possible. Thank you.
Well, and then I hear somebody that really wants to get rich at a rapid rate with specifics. That is not what we try and do here. We want to leave some mystery so that you can amuse yourself finding your own way. You know, the good ideas that I have had in my life are quite few. But the lesson I can give you is a few is all you need, and don't be disappointed. And when you find the few, of course, you've got to act aggressively. That's the Munger system.
Now, while 10 million may be small on the scale of a company like Berkshire Hathaway, there's an idea here that deserves to be replicated. In order to take advantage of something like compounding investment, a small investment is all you need, and to do that, I believe there's 3 key principles you need to be armed with before participating in the stock market. First is you need to keep capital. I think it can be easy to be lost in the modern financial advice of making your money work for you and having a degree of aversion to keep idle liquid cash. While there's certainly truth in that, people can underestimate the necessity of having cash available the moment that a good investment opportunity becomes visible in the market. A lot of these opportunities are short-lived, most importantly in the case of new and promising startups, still in their first few rounds of investments before they rapidly grow. You need to keep some cash in hand and be ready to pounce to capitalize on an opportunity like this, because it's one of the only few times that even a small amount of money can balloon into large sums. Secondly, as Charlie said, a few is all you need. I believe that's a degree of countercultural advice in finance where a lot of people would instead be telling you about the importance of diversification. Perhaps the fact that diversified focus leads to diversified results. Instead, for someone starting to invest with small amounts of money, it's better to think deeply about your next move, but go all out on just a few businesses and stocks that you truly believe in. It's no small use spreading thin such a small amount of money. In this sense, making an investment in the start is a bit like a firework. It goes up in a single straight line and then bursts and spreads once it gets there. A bit like that, a small focus investment in the right stock yields good results, and only then is spread and diversification recommended.
And I'm afraid you're not going to find a million wonderful ideas. I think these people, the computer algorithms do it, but they have a computer that's sifting the whole world. It's like placer mining. And of course, every niche they're in, if somebody else comes in, the niche starts leaching away. And I don't think it's that honorable way to make a living, by the way. I would rather make my money in some other way than outsmarting the trading system, so I have a little computer algorithm that just leaches a little of everybody's trade. I always say that those people have all the social utility of a bunch of rats in a granary. It's not that great a way to make money. I would say that if you make your money that way, you should be very charitable with it, because you've got a lot to atone for.
Those trading methods that Charlie Munger mentioned just means making the same mistake. It's an attempt to game the market with a diluted focus and understanding of the fundamentals, and in that sense, investing becomes more like gambling. Unfortunately for people outside of the world of investing who are just starting out, the idea of using sophisticated computer bots and models sounds like an easy way to blow up their small initial investment. But more often than not, it only ends up backfiring. The last and third important lesson I think we can glean from Charlie here is that you need to look at the small stocks, because that's where undervalued stocks lie. What's even better is that very often large institutional investors often just overlook these small investment opportunities because there are hundreds of these new stocks and startups that pop in and out of existence. This is the place for a new or small investor who needs to have the time and patience to sit and look for some key fundamentals in a business in order to invest in them. An example from Warren Buffett could be how to be invested in American Express in the 1960s, when it was a much smaller and struggling name in the finance world. Now it's one of Berkshire Hathaway's most lucrative investments. Opportunities like these are coming up every single day, but only visible to the small investor with focus that wants to go all out on a business that believes he's checked all the boxes for good fundamentals. Warren Buffett said this nearly 2.5 decades ago about starting small in the investing world.
So I would say if you're working with a small sum of money and you're really interested in the business and willing to do the work, you will find something. If you were, there's no question about it in my mind. You will find some things that promise very large returns compared to what we will be able to deliver with large sums of money. Charlie?
Well, yeah, I think that's right. A brilliant man who can't get any money from other people and is working with a very small sum probably should work in very obscure stocks, searching out unusual mispriced opportunities.
Remember, all of the biggest companies today started out as a small undervalued stock that had to prove itself to new investors. And while people today may be willing to pay hundreds of dollars for one of their stocks, there's still hundreds of small companies they can invest in to potentially replicate their success. Let me know in the comments how you view this approach, because there's certainly weight to it coming from two of the world's most successful investors.